Hey guys, so I'm just going to jump in it because I don't want to take a million hours to do this. We only have one more organelle to talk about, but I do want to talk about just some cool stuff after that. So our final organelle that we are going to be talking about is the cytoskeleton. Ooh, that's actually a lie because we have to talk about the nuclear membrane. So JK, next to last. We're not doing that today though. But our next to last organelle is the cytoskeleton. So exactly what your skeleton does for you, the cytoskeleton does for the cell at the cellular level. So it is a network of fibers, usually made of proteins, that are extending throughout the cytoplasm. So I love this picture. It's really cool. They have colored the cytoskeleton this yellowy color so you can see just kind of, it really looks like a big spider web on the inside of the cell. Primary function is just to support the cell. It helps it maintain its shape. It helps it move around both internally and externally. So at some point we'll watch a video, but stuff just kind of walks across the cytoskeleton on the inside. It helps it, move around on the inside of the cell, get from one side of the cell to the other. We also have external motility as well, so you will have projections that extend out of the cell, and that helps the cell move around. So like flagella, like the big tail like sperm cells have, that's technically a part of the cytoskeleton. Cilia, which are the little hair-like things that paramecia have, those are part of the cytoskeleton. So, thankfully, because your book goes into it in excruciating detail, thankfully we're not super responsible for it. But there are different levels of cytoskeleton, and they have different functions, and so we have microtubules, which are these big circle things. These are big, thick, hollow tubes. These help move things around within the cell, big structural components. Then you have these intermediate filaments. These are very strong, and they're like rope, and they help bind the cell together. They're very, this is a big deal in muscle fibers because they help keep the muscle together and not tear in half. Muscle cells, excuse me. Then you have these microfilaments, which are super, super long, and they help the cell contract. Again, in muscle cells, they also help the cell divide. So whenever the cell actually pushes apart and becomes two new cells, these microfilaments are what's going to do it. It very much reminds me of when you are constructing a house. So you will have rebar within the concrete. You will have, studs and beams in the walls. So that's what these are for. These are there for structure, they're there for support, and they help reinforce the structural integrity of the cell itself. Now, those are our organelles. I want to talk about something really cool though called the extracellular matrix. Okay, so this is not an organelle because it's not inside the cells, but it is a really cool side effect of being a multicellular organism. So, we have lots and lots of cells that work together to make us one organism. And the way that those cells work together and interact is through the extracellular matrix. So, when you get a bunch of cells together that are doing a common job, we call that a tissue. So the extracellular matrix is there to strengthen and hold together the tissue mass. It is also the medium with which you transmit information from one cell to another. Cells in my liver and cells in my, stomach, they're not touching. So how do they talk? Well, they're going to be talking through extracellular matrix, okay? And it's actually very interesting. So a lot of times in on-level, and honestly, maybe even in your class, we talk about you being a solid mass of cells, and that is not true. So here we have a good example of the extracellular matrix. Okay, so this is a sample of we looking at skin, and here's muscle, and then here is a blood vessel that's going through. Okay, so we have these epithelial cells that are lining the top up here, and then we have some basement membrane, which is not cellular. And then you just kind of have some empty space here. Okay, just some connective tissue. It's literally just going to be glycoproteins like collagen, okay? And then you've got these little fibroblasts in here. These are cellular, but there's just empty space in here. It's not empty. It's full of these proteins that are giving it structure. And then you have some cells here and cells in here as well. but you do have this non-cellular space in your body, and it is there to support all of these other cellular components. The extracellular matrix really reminds me of, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, this woman over here. She made like a chicken wire structure, and now she is putting like clay on it to help, you know, make oh, I watched so many sculpting videos. What is this called? I don't remember. But she's making this like frame to help her armature. She's making an armature to help her, you know, build her actual thing, so it doesn't have to be just a solid mass. That's how we are. We have a lot of this, you know, non-cellular stuff going on to support these cellular components. Now, about half of your body's protein is tied up in this extracellular matrices. So, I just think that's super interesting. Yes, so we can see it here. So here we have a cell membrane. My light went out again. Cell membrane, and then you have this stuff up here that's not cell. This is your extracellular membrane. Okay, so we have all these little protein dudes in there. So we have these things called integrins, and they are bound up in the cell's membrane, and that is how the cell's membrane connects to this extracellular matrix. Okay, so again, this extracellular matrix is like that wire frame, and your cells are attached into it. Okay, these integrins are attached with these fibronectins. So the integrin is the cellular portion. The fibronectin is the actual like connector that connects it to these big collagen or proteoglycogen complexes. You would not believe how popular my classroom is after hours. I just had someone else walk in here. Cool. So, I want to talk about how cells stick together, okay? So in multicellular organisms, animal cells specifically, there's a couple of different ways you can get cells to stick to each other. Because, again, there are lots of organisms on this planet that are just one cell. So how do you kind of convince thousands and trillions of cells to stick together and communicate and function? So, some animal cells have tight junctions, which you can see right here. It's very much like we just super glued these guys together. Okay, so the two cell walls are actually fused into one point, and they form a watertight seal. That's very useful in your skin cells at keeping you watertight. It's also very useful in like your blood vessels, keeping, you know, the liquid portions in. It's useful in the bladder, keeping the liquid in. So any place where we need, you know, to make a watertight bag, because again, remember, water can pass through these membrane components, so we want to make it not pass through these cells. We also have these things called desmosomes, which are right here, and they are kind of like rivets. They're going to fasten two cells together. It's very much like you're just screwing the cells together. Or actually, if you guys have ever seen those, they're like drywall rivets, where they start out like this and you put them in the drywall and then they open up on the inside and it keeps it from pulling the screw out of the drywall. That's very much what these desmosomes are like. They fasten the cells together whenever you need like really high duty, these cells have to be together. It's very useful in muscles to keep, you know, the unit together, because you don't want the muscle cells to tear apart. You want them to be able to contract and, you know, relax in a strong, you know, you want to be able to have those strong contractions. And then we also have these gap junctions. Okay, so gap junctions right here and right here. It's literally like these tubes that are extending from one cell to another, and it allows ions, really small molecules, to pass back and forth between the two cells so they can communicate with each other. Wouldn't you know? Someone coming in. All right, so finally, how do you convince plant cells to stick together and actually communicate and work together? So, in plants, it's a little more complicated because they don't just have the membrane, they also have the cell wall. So there has to be some way to get information from, you know, inside of this cell through the membrane, through this wall, through that wall, and into this membrane. So it's kind of a process. The cell wall itself, of course, is there to protect and support plant cells. It is made primarily of cellulose, which is a type of carb. It's just an extremely strong carbohydrate. There's actually two cell walls, the primary and the secondary cell wall, but it's not really important that we distinguish between the two. So I'm going to move my screen. So your primary cell wall, it reminds me of like your baby teeth and like your adult teeth. So your primary cell wall is the first one that the cell lays down, and then it is flexible enough that the cell can grow and add cell wall to it. And then the secondary cell wall is permanent, and that is what the cell lays down after it is finished growing. So you can see here this primary wall we can grow to fit it. The secondary wall is where we actually are confined to. Now, in between all of these plant cells is this stuff that's kind of like glue. It is literally made of pectin, which is the chemical that makes gum chewy. Okay, so it is that sticky gum texture, and it is between all the cells, and it glues the cells together. So, those are how the cells stick together, but how do plant cells communicate? So, every plant cell has this thing called a plasmodesmata. Okay, so singular is plasmodesma. And it's basically just like a tunnel through the cell wall that you can communicate, send messages, send chemicals, send molecules and stuff like that through the cell walls so that you can get from one cell to another. All right, cool cats. I know this was kind of long. I'm sorry, it was 26 minutes. That sucks. But I did look at a couple videos and they ended up adding up to about an hour, so I tried to keep it really short and sweet. Super sorry that it took so long. Yes, I will see you guys tomorrow where we will talk about the cell membrane and start prepping for all of the labs that we're going to do next week. So, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.